I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Our September 12, 2016 meeting. Mr. Norman is a little under the weather, will not be with us this evening. With that said, we could do the approval of tonight's agenda.
Mr. President, can we add the wheel-lock box and training project to the agenda, please?
No, Mr. Vick, we're still under pending litigation. Take our attorney's directive and we'll not do that. With that said, any other questions, comments? We need to have a motion, please, for the approval of tonight's agenda.
I make a motion for approval of the agenda this evening dated August 8, 2016.
Support. Support.
Yes.
Cassidy? Yes. Dick?
No.
Baldwin?
The approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting, August 8, 2016.
I make a motion that we approve the regular council meeting minutes dated August 8th, 2016.
I'll support. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Gordon?
Yes.
Cassidy? Yes. Dick?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. Our closed session, of May 9th, 2016.
I'll make a motion that we approve the council meeting minutes from the closed session meeting that took place May 9th of 2016.
Support. Roll call, please.
Gordon?
Yes.
McCafferty?
Yes.
Dick?
No.
Baldwin?
Yes. And in fact, the treasurer's report, which is the purple sheet this evening.
Question, Mr. President. Under sewer fund for $49,000 and some change, is that because we haven't received payments? That's why that account's that low? Under their sewer funds? Sorry.
CDs. We can't hear you. And then sewer dropped September 1st, so better go up on there.
No, so then, sure.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else? I'm asking for a motion to approve the treasurer's report for September 12, 2016.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report dated September 12, 2016.
Support.
Gordon?
Yes.
McCafferty?
Yes.
Dick?
No.
Baldwin?
Yes. The bills and transfers.
Couple questions, Mr. President. The Johnson and Sons excavating for $900, and underneath that is $5,000. Was that money that was owed to them for the fire hall? And then for the wine gardens, for $584, do we purchase another piece of equipment?
That was for the whole song.
Thank you. And then LSL planning for $1,700.
The majority of that is an escrow from applications for the planning commission.
If not, I'm looking for a motion that we accept the bills and transfers from 8/1/2016 to 8/31/2016.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bills and transfers dated 8/1 through 8/31/2016.
Horton,
Yes.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Pitt,
Yes.
Olga.
All right, first round of public comment. Once again, these are agenda items only. 3 minutes, so please address the chair. Anyone? With that,
I do. I'd like to speak in opposition to your burning ordinance. I guess I've lived here for 23 years, and I think as long as anybody's been here in Goodrich, they've been allowed to burn. You know, to me, it's kind of a communal event. You know, you get out there, your neighbors are out there. You know, I enjoy the smell of the leaves. For me, I've got a lot of trees on my, I've got a lot of oak trees in my yard. And, you know, if I were to have to buy the paper bags, which are about 50 cents a bag or so, I'm sure that it would take me about 100 bags to be able to bag up all my leaves. You know, I know my neighbor's got even more trees than I have. And, you know, I think if they had to bag their leaves, that they would probably easily have over 200 bags. So that's, you know, $100 in bags. That's like increasing taxes on the people of Goodrich. You know, if we did something where we could break them to the road and we had a service to come by and suck them up, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Right now, our yard waste is only collected through November. You know, oak trees, I don't know if anybody else has got oak trees, but oak trees like to hold on to those leaves. And there's a lot of times when it's December when those leaves, you know, are falling. Sometimes my oak trees are holding on to a quarter of their leaves through winter. They don't drop until, you know, February, March. Yard waste, Jackie, when does yard waste start back up?
May 1st,
May.
April 1st.
What is that?
April 1st.
Well, regardless, so if the rest of my leaves fall and it's springtime and I'm going to clean them up, I still can't put them out. Anyways, I just wanted to speak in opposition of the ordinance, and I think it would be a disservice if you guys approve that.
anyone else? Don't hesitate.
How you doing, Mr. Wall? I'd like to speak a little bit about the agenda, about the land division application, 2-21-200-008, Eagle Road and Future Holdings LLC. The taxpayers of this community spent an incredible amount of time and resources, as well as the village council and the rest of the administration, developing a plan for growth and a plan for zoning and things like that. To grant some variances and ordinances to change how our residential makeup is made, I think we need a little bit more information prior to the council deciding that. It's a little bit more input from reputable people that could have some idea on the impact of changing that variance. I happen to live on there on Schuman Drive. It would directly impact me. It's coming over a hill. There's a lot of kids going to school. That's a bad area anyways, with people zipping over that hill. And more people coming in and out of there, out of their driveways. So I think I would not recommend and I would not support the council approving a rezone for that. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Move forward then. Parks and the Rec Committee. Fence.
So, Angie Agnew, Parks and Rec Chair. A couple months ago, the Parks and Rec Committee suggested to the council that we put up a split rail fence up where the turnaround is, where the new common sign is and the garden is. There's a large hill there that sometimes people drive over. The DPW would like to see something put up there, and it's Ethan's wish that it be a split rail fence, which makes a whole lot of sense, because there's already a split rail fence up there on both sides of that area. There's a split rail fence to the east of the dam. There's a split rail fence in front of Century Television right there. And our split rail fence would simply be kind of connecting that whole visual there. It would stop people from driving over the hill. It would look great, make it look like a park. Split rail fence is not expensive, there's no upkeep to it, you don't paint it, it's just a cedar split rail fence. And it's relatively easy to put in, and not that difficult to move if you need to move it. So it is our recommendation, and the committee voted, Parks and Rec Committee voted, to ask council to allow us to have a split rail fence there.
Does council have any questions?
A couple questions that I have. I think at the last meeting, we had discussed some paperwork, maybe with a drawing or a sketch. I mean, we all understand what a split rail fence is. But coming from a committee, if you will, normally you ask the council to get bids, and bids are submitted, or the committee already has that done, and the bids get submitted, it's something that we have a chance to look over. We also discussed a survey of the telephone building to make sure we weren't gonna be on those properties. I'm not really seeing that. I mean, I'm seeing something from 1994, but I didn't see any stakes out there that something was done to verify where these lines were at. So I guess my concerns are, if something that's coming from a committee is, if it's our planning committee or a zoning committee, we get a lot of information, a lot of stuff to go over, and it's not just so much as a request.
Okay, to answer those things, if I can remember each of them. First of all, well, name your many topics first. Let me just do one at a time. Which one do you want me to address first?
The survey.
The survey. We're not going to be crossing any boundary lines. We're not going to be coming near any boundary lines, so the survey is really a non-issue.
Well, and I can agree with that, but I mean, to make sure that we don't, we needed to know where the property lines were. That's what the discussion was at the last council. That was one of the main reasons why we held off and actually approved that.
Well, this fence is going through park, village property. It's not dividing us from anyone else's property. It's going through park property,
Okay.
all village property.
And then my other concern that I would have coming from a Parks and Rec committee is that the other split rail fence that you talked about on the east side of the dam is actually falling down, and it does not look very appealing. So coming from a committee normally puts together some kind of a project, of a statement, if you will, saying this is what we want our park to look like as a whole. This may be part of it, but we get a full understanding of what the view is coming from the Parks and Rec committee, not just little pieces of the puzzle as it goes through, which is what's currently happening.
Well, the way it works in the village is usually one thing at a time, because it's very difficult to even get one thing, as we're witnessing right now, even to get one thing okay. This fence, it's not like a structure that can't be removed, or that's unchangeable, or that's going to cost a huge amount of money. It will be put up not by, we don't put up bids for it. DPW will do it with volunteer assistance. So bidding is a non-issue. We did give an estimate of the cost of it. I forget, it's written in the minutes, in those minutes. I think it's roughly $400 and some dollars for materials. That didn't include hardware. That was just the poles and rails to fence. Is there another one you want to?
Well, then my other concern would be, and this would be for the council for consideration, was that we have this beautiful monument that's already there at the turnaround, and now you're gonna put another split rail fence in. You guys are, to me, you're taking away the visibility of actually seeing the park as you're driving by. You're putting up another barrier. That is something else that I would oppose to the project.
A split rail fence is a very low fence. It's just a 2-rail fence. It really won't be blocking anything. You'll have a couple of openings in it so that people can pass through it. For the sledding hill and then for the eventual trail. One of the things that the village had planned out and that we're all cognizant of and plan on is having a handicapped accessible trail going from that hilltop there by the split rail bench. And it's going to wind down that hill and take us down into the park. So yes, some of these things are in the plans. We do have, some larger plans, but we can only get there one step at a time. We don't have a lot of money in the village. We can't come in and ask you for a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 project. We have to go a little one step at a time. That's the way things happen.
I am not aware of, on the east side of the dam, that split rail fence. I know there's one in there, but I guess I've never really noticed or paid any attention.
I have
Is that on
noticed,
village property?
Mhm.
Yes?
I have noticed one rail that's knocked down, and yes, that should be repaired.
I'd love to. Why would we pay for more when we can't pay for that?
Well, again, I'll go back to my last thing. And I understand what you're saying that we don't have the amount of money to do something ginormous in there and whatnot, but however, we shouldn't just be doing little pieces here when you have the other side that's also damaged. I'm saying something should be included to enhance the whole structure of this rail, to make it a continuing thing. If you're gonna do it, do the whole thing properly, is what I'm getting at.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Right, but there's been no discussion on repairing what, excuse me, repairing what we have there.
Let's have it right now. We repair that at the same time that we put this fence in. Very little repair needs to be done to that other rail.
But we can't do it for months.
Yeah, let's
Well, we can talk to whoever you want.
let's continue. What were your other questions?
Well, we had discussed of a survey to make sure that there was some kind of a stake there, to make sure we weren't gonna be crossing on their utility lines, or the utility company's property.
I did go down with this and looked at that. I would feel comfortable with the fence. You're not gonna go right up next to that building, you're gonna stay back
Yeah.
with.
Ethan's already discussed where he wanted to end, which there's gonna be no question.
Someone would contact Ms. Diggs before you dug the hole. You would fix the split rail fence on the other side. And you have volunteer help. You're gonna use the DPW for what?
The DPW will be doing it. We will be assisting. The DPW asked for volunteer help because there's only 2 of the guys out there. So they did say, if we do this project, we'd like to have volunteer help, which is fine with us. We can come up with a couple of people in the village easily.
How many hours are we looking?
How many hours? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
You do it in a day.
It would depend, it would depend.
Excuse me, you're ruined. You're out of order.
I imagine it would depend on the ground condition, the weather, these posts go in, I think it's 1.5 to 2 foot in the ground, they're not really deep holes. I would imagine the best way to do it would be with a little post hole digger. I mean, how many, it won't take long, there's after a few, as long as we do it when the weather's proper, so that you can get in the ground. It'll be hard ground if it's dry. So we have to use the proper equipment, put the holes up, and then standing the posts up, I can't imagine it'd be more than a couple of days. But again, I couldn't.
Well, Mark, if you guys do approve this, I recommend that you do use a hand post hole digger being next to that central office there, because all the trunk lines come out there, and I believe Mr. Murray stated they run down through the park, and you don't really know which direction you're going to be doing the power
I
line.
know those guys up there. I would definitely go in there and talk with them, and I would want Ethan to come with me. I've been told that there is nothing in the area with this fence. But we both know that doesn't mean anything. Ms. Digg can mark something, and it doesn't mean anything.
And I highly suggest that you hand dig the marks if there's anything here to verify that those marks are correct even before you put a post in the ground. Because Ms. Digg can be wrong, or their equipment's uncalibrated wrong.
Projected cost? For the material, let's go there.
Yeah, just material. It's written in the minutes that we gave to you. I'm thinking it was like $35 per 10-foot section. So I think that came up to like, there's 200 foot, and I think it came up to like $400 and some. That was just taking the price from Home Depot and Menards, one of those kind of cedar, just put that on. You see it on it's on the Parks and Rec minute.
Anybody see that? Help me out.
10-foot section, 2 rails and a post for $35 of red cedar.
I don't have them
Perhaps
right.
something.
Oh, it's
I
in,
got 2 copies of August 4th. I got that from Jackie.
On one of them,
that's what I was looking for too.
Flip it over.
on one of them, it's got a total projected, I think it's $400 and some.
With that said, on the other side of the dam, how many sections are we looking at over there?
I've not gone over and looked at it, but it looks like it's just one rail that's knocked down from the post. I'm not certain. It could just be setting that rail back up.
Council, anything else?
I don't think so. Really, Shannon?
No. Well, the survey, even though it's dated back to 94?
Yes.
I would think that it's still valid. I mean, the buildings haven't moved, the ground hasn't changed. I've lived in my house for almost 20 years now, my survey hasn't changed. My property line is where my property line is. Survey's still valid from when I purchased my home. So paying the additional money to have another survey done, everyone is always up in arms about spending more money. I just don't think that when we already have one in place, and if the fence is going to already be on park property, as long as we are making sure that we're not busting any electric lines, gas lines, telephone lines, cable lines, whatever other type of lines. Yay, I'd rather see something nice go up than nothing at all.
And currently, they've been putting steel posts in the ground. There's been posts in the ground there all, forever, so they've been steel posts. Before that, there were wooden posts, if I'm not mistaken, long ago. So we've always had posts in the ground there. It's just that the wooden posts are all gone. It's just these ugly steel posts now, which are not attractive.
I would make a motion that we accept this, but I would put a limit on your material of $500 to give you some wiggle room in case you had to replace anything on the other side of the dam. And I would make the motion that we approve up to $500 for the split rail fence. And I would like to know when the activity is going to take place. Support?
I'll support.
Any further discussion?
The only discussion that I have going forward on this, Mr. President, is we have a drain pot project that may or may not be going through the park there. It may be doing some damage to some of our stuff that's down there. I guess I envision the Parks and Rec Committee to be giving us presentations or proposals on like an overall theme or something that they would like to see done. Instead of, and I don't mean this in any negative way, but instead of the nickel and diming projects that are continuing to go on down there. That's something that our Goodrich volunteers has always done very well, the flowers and the benches and whatnot. And the Parks and Rec seem to continue that style of practice, if you will, when it comes to projects for our community. I personally don't think the Parks and Rec Committee is being utilized properly. I don't think the agendas are set right, and I think it's getting blurred between the volunteers and the Parks and Rec committees because the meetings are on the same day. I'm not necessarily against the split rail fence. I do have some concerns with it, but I understand the purpose for it. However, I just truly don't feel that this is the proper aspect, if you will, for the Parks and Rec committee to be bringing this to us. This is something that the Goodrich volunteers have always done. I want to see something more broad, more formal coming in. I think the council or the administrator should be sharing future projects that's going to be coming down there so we can get a real understanding on what our community wants with that input. I'll end on that.
Taken.
The sewer line that's coming through the park is gonna dig down to the base of the park.
We don't know where it's going through, and we can't discuss that here.
The neighbors know.
Touche.
The neighbors know where it's coming through, and so we know where it's coming through. And for that reason, that we are not doing anything on that end of the park until it comes through and we know exactly what it is.
And I believe that your split rail fence does match the one on the other side, which I guess I kind of vaguely remember, you don't go focus on it. Cleaning some of the brush in the background might help a little bit, but not too much because it does help to hold the soil there. And anything else down in the park, once again, if by chance some other governmental entity might disrupt anything, they will pay to put it back in its past condition, or they're gonna put it back to where it was, I guess. So, as we said, any other discussion?
If I could make one comment, being on the Parks and Rec committee, we've had discussions about mission statements, getting a possible, line item for a Parks and Rec budget. Currently, there isn't anything, so being a Parks and Rec committee, we have to do things step by step, because we don't have a set budget. I mean, we have to come to mom and dad to ask for money before we can go to the movies. And whether or not, council approves the budget, then things aren't getting done. And being on the committee, people mention, we have to have a nice park, we have to have a nice park. Well, we can't make the park nice if we don't do anything. And by doing little things, it's showing, to me, it's showing an effort. And we've talked about, again, having a mission statement and getting a line on the budget to hopefully have budget talks next budget go around of maybe throwing a bone to the Parks and Rec, so they can say, yeah, we want, we'd like to do this, present it, hey, okay, yay, you've got the budget for it, let's do it. So, I mean, as being a Parks and Rec committee member, there's little that we can do right now as big projects are concerned. There's no budget line for it.
We know we don't have the money to do much.
And one of the reasons also that we're making a mission statement is because since there's never been a Parks and Rec committee before, we don't really know who we are. We're feeling our way through this. So by creating a mission statement, we're hoping to present it to council very shortly, for council to approve and tell us, yes, that is what we want you to do, because we serve at the discretion of the council. Until the council can tell us what our job is, we're just kind of, so this is something we're learning. Like Shannon said, we have to put it together slowly, put it together right.
And with what Mr. Vick has said, in the future, going forward, when you have a proposal for council, a little more information would help.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
McCafferty,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Jackie, did you want me to stay here with signs too?
Yes.
Okay, so something else that the Parks and Rec committee has done, we have determined, we did it for legal reasons. A police officer cannot, for instance, kick someone out of the park in the middle of the night if park rules aren't posted somewhere, if the hours aren't posted somewhere. So we've been working on this for some time now. We've got signs designed. we have to have a sign at each entrance that says the park hours. We designed a very nice, inexpensive, heavy-duty aluminum sign that the DPW has posts to put on. They'd be happy to mount them for us. So it would be one sign at each entrance. I think we have pictures of them, right, with hours. And then a third sign is all the park rules taken from our ordinances, listed, and we would hope to post that on the side of the shed and we're framed, so that all of our rules are posted, and it gives the authorities the ability to stop illegal action in the park. At a cost of approximately $150 total. Nice signs. And if you have to have seen the signs that are in the park now, that are posted in the top of the pavilion, 2 signs that says, please keep this park clean, or help keep this park clean. Those are from the same company.
One question that I have. For no alcohol allowed in the park, is that gonna go away? Have you decided a beer again for Good Time Goodrich?
Let's see the little rule at the bottom of the list there, where it says, where it says ordinance number or something, something on that rule sign. Very last one.
This one doesn't have
I
the.
don't-
I don't see that.
Oh, sorry, it was printed off on, the one that's on order, also on the bottom of it says, makes a reference to the ordinance in our charter that says exceptions can be made to these rules with permission, when we have permission from the council. So if you're tent guys, you just have to ask for permission to do that, or fire people would ask for permission to do it.
That'd be the same, if somebody wanted to have a family reunion or something like that, wouldn't it?
If they wanted to,
Yeah, if they wanted to have on.
if they wanted to break one of the rules, they have to ask.
And then that would go for Jackie's approval, or that would come to the council for approval? I think Jackie was shaking her head no, that wouldn't reflect for
People
them.
that are using the pavilion are not allowed to, at this point, have alcohol in the park. That would be a decision that the council would make. I don't make decisions like that. I would recommend that you don't allow it. The other event is a council sanctioned event, and the council is on premise.
They also supply their own insurance too. I guess there's nothing that somebody couldn't come to council and ask. You have to have a little.
Well, I just want something to, you know, not allowing an event down there because of that. I mean, I can see the point of not having alcohol bottles and stuff, because they get broken in this glass, and then you got a bigger mess, but if somebody had cans or something like that, then, you know, that's a little bit different. I mean, I can appreciate the rule being on there, you don't need open people down there just drinking, but I'm saying if somebody were to rent it out for an events and whatnot, you know, somebody might think otherwise if they can't have a kegger.
If I may, Jake, those are, that's rules in our ordinance.
Yeah, I can.
So the council at any time can adjust those and go through the process of.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, I did get some questions from Mr. Vick today, and as Angie stated, these rules and regulations are listed in other areas of the ordinance, like the noise ordinance, fireworks, those types of things. So this is like to regulate people's behavior, and it incorporates the rules and regulations we already have in our code of ordinances. What we're looking for, this is a consensus that council agrees to what they're presenting.
You need to spend up to $150 on the signs.
You can put that in your motion if you want to.
That was a quote that you
I
had,
am
right?
I
free to do
think
that.
I rounded up, it might be a couple bucks below or above, it's around 150.
I would be just asking for consensus that you agree with it. I can spend the money. But you can put a limit on it if you want.
How do you want the motion?
the prices are 2 or 3 months old, so.
Make a motion that we limit to $150.
What?
$150?
Well, make it 155,
Make it an easy-
50.
just to make sure. 153.
Ring my head, no, it sounds like we're at an auction.
I would not to exceed 175.
I'd like to retract my motion and say $175.
Support.
Horton,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We all set with parks and rec. So, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
What?
Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the park and recs? Help us out with the number 2, the reports on the street administrator, 9/11, water and waste.
I think since the last meeting, the streets have been graded and chlorided. We did have a mishap today. There was a tree that came down on wires on M15, and DPW rented a chipper, and one of those flute things. And they were doing the chipping, everything was where it was supposed to be, and it came up underneath the grid that's in the back, so we have to have a new window put in tomorrow. Other than that, Ethan was breaking up the salt, because our salt for this year will be coming in the next month or 2. We have 150 tons coming. Not good to say let's have some snow, but let's have some snow. 911, really nothing to report. We're working on contracts for the supervisors for 911. If people notice that there's a water and waste notice on the door, that is for anybody that wants to go down and speak their mind to Genesee County to question the charges that they have for sewer and water. And the sheriff's report is in your packet.
Mr. President, question for the street administrator, you know he's not here. Do we have any updates on our salt and gravel spreader that we've had so many issues with?
We've been talking. Yeah, let's leave that with number 7. Leave that to the attorney. Salt spread.
Yeah. Let me go on.
Please.
Code enforcement, Dave's been working on a couple different items in the village, one a basketball hoop and one a home occupation. Hopefully both of those will be resolved shortly. Administrative, just wanted to mention that at this point, we have 5 artists working on the benches. It's kind of like you put one out there and a lot of other people want to come and volunteer. And I think they're doing a great job. The benches look beautiful. I have been approached by the real estate company that is representing the owner of the property next to us. Wondered if we were interested in obtaining that property. It's approximately $60,000. It might be something that, now that the Parks and Recs plan is adapted, we could go after trust money if we had an interest in creating. I have a drawing of what I would like to see over there, the raised platform that goes all the way through back to the park that we own behind Creekside, that we might be able to get money for. If anybody has an interest, I'll pursue it, take a look at it, and see if it's something that we could qualify for.
If we can get money for something like that, we ought to go for it and see.
There is a 20% match when you get trust money to buy property, and then you can apply through the DNR for money to build too. So, or it could be all one.
Let's just see what's out there.
Okay. Sidewalks, unless somebody has anything to report. Again, we're working with Safe Routes to School that we might be able to replace all the sidewalks that we have or install some sidewalk within the village. The attorney, you want to take that one, or you want me to?
Oh, you're doing fine.
Mr. Baldwin has been working with New Holland and the company that produced the salt spreader to no avail. We've had a discussion, and I talked to Tom about him writing a letter to New Holland. They're the ones that modified the salt spreader. The equipment company that made it did not. So I'm looking for direction from council to have Tom write a letter to New Holland that could end up in court action.
And if I could, I would like to say that I probably talked to 8 different people that work for Myers. They're all problem solvers, they all tell me what I want to hear. And the next time I call, they don't work there anymore. And that's the way it's done. With that, I believe that our directive for Tom, Mr. McKinney, should be to Myers and to New Holland also. I would send something out to both of them.
So I'm looking for direction to do that. I've heard of the motion to direct Mr. McKinney to write a letter to New Holland and send it to Meyer, to explain the situation and do what attorneys do with their letter.
I agree.
That motion?
Questions?
We spent a lot of money on something that we can't use, and to spend any more money to try and fix a problem that we didn't create.
Everybody in Myers is aware of it. We've taken this to another business, and we kind of got their input on it, and they gave me a contact person, and I talked to that guy. This particular dealership down in Brighton is amazed that no one has gotten back with us, because if we were taking it out.
Is this a unit that can still be installed in our equipment that we currently have, or they just sold us the wrong spreader, if you will?
How it was fabricated to go on this truck was wrong. What else could be done, I don't know. The other dealership said that we shouldn't have to pay anything, and that Myers should be responsible and help us. But like I say,
So with the letter that he's writing, from my understanding, we're still gonna retain the spreader, we just want to find somebody to make this thing operable for us.
make us happy.
Yeah.
I mean, as a consumer, we were entitled to some rights. It's never worked.
Keeping in mind that winter's around the corner and we have one truck with the salt spreader, so we're going to have to do something at the next meeting. Hopefully we'll have some type of direction from Mr. McKinney, but we're going to have to get a drop-in spreader for the other truck. Or we'll be down to one. We are down to one.
We are doing it. Any other questions?
They might take this one back and give us one that actually works on the truck.
This one would benefit because it not only does salt, but it does gravel from the shoulder to the road. I mean, it's a nice piece of equipment, it's just, it wasn't done properly when I said it. And also the dealerships. They kind of, that's what they said. So we're just gonna have, let's just go forward and contact Mr. McKinney and send letters out to both of them. Is that work his magic?
Smart.
I think a motion.
Mark made the one. Rick did.
Mark made the motion, I support it.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, sorry, Rick.
Just to let you,
Horton,
sorry.
Yes,
McCafferty,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Baldwin.
yes. Whatever that, Earl.
Just to let you know that the deck suit has been filed as of 8/11. I don't have any more information on that. I don't have any final information on the Brio Energy Corporation. Hopefully by the next meeting, I will know if it's going to save us any money. I still have to send some more information if she's requested again. So that'll be on the agenda next month. And the next item is the burn order, which you received.
Discussion.
I'd like to make a couple of comments or give a little information on the open burn ordinance, 148. I guess I'd like to take a look at the ordinance itself to see exactly what it says. I've got several people that have a real interest as to what's going to happen with this burn ordinance because of the location they live at in the village, the things that they've been doing for the last 30, 40, 50 years, they, the residents in their homes. One family I know real well has had several big maple trees in their yard, and over the years, they've had to rake it, blow it, do several things to get the leaves off the lawn, and that happens usually about the middle of October. And the person I'm referring to, you probably know who it is, he's real concerned about the fact that for probably the last 40 years, he has been able to burn some leaves that are nice and dry on the edge of the road. Never had a problem, no smoke to the neighbors. And he's really concerned because if he has to bag them, it becomes pretty expensive. If he gets to burn them, then he's gonna do that on a timely fashion, obviously when they're nice and dry. I see here that we need to get a fire permit, which I think is something that should be done, so that the township knows what's going on, the village knows what's going on. And with my conversation with them today, they just didn't think that they were able to keep the lawn as nice as it's always been with the leaves as they show up, because it always has to be someone hired to either rake them, blow them, and they've always, in the last few years, have blown the leaves across the road, down by the mill pond, and with the idea of not putting any leaves into the mill pond, but that got them out of their yards. And I think that's important for most people to know that it's not an idea to blow the leaves into the lake, the mill pond, and to see how well they float. That's not the issue. The issue is now that I've got them, I like to get rid of it in a burn fashion, which has been going on at this property owner for 50 years at least, and it's always worked pretty well. So that's an issue for the village to look at, and whether it has to be addressed with some continued verbiage, so the people who are looking at that realize this is not something you use to burn the big wood pile from the barn down. It's not used for a big type of burning, but more so for a maintenance type situation. And there are a few people up in the Grove area that have that issue, and just, their houses are inside these. Yeah, I mean, they're inside giant maple trees, giant oak trees, and when they come down, they're there, unless they get rid of them, they're there till next spring. Then the law doesn't look too good then.
The only thing that's really, this is a combination of our ordinance, the township's ordinance, and the application that you make when you apply for a building, or for a burning permit. The biggest change in here is section 12.62, which is what you're talking about, the burning of grass clipping leaves and household refuge is prohibited. Back when we were negotiating to have garbage pickup, they passed a law that any municipalities to a certain level had to limit or quit with the burning of leaves. At that time, we thought that that was going to continue on down and include the village as far as our population is concerned. Well, they stopped it at the 7,500 or 2,500, whichever it was. So we, that was one of the reasons that we got the compost with the trash pickup. Just for a little background information when you people were here. So that's why that's on there. And it's up to you whether or not you want to adopt this ordinance. We have had calls come into the village, we've had people come into the village, we've had village employees, village council people come in and talk about I don't know, when somebody's burning a lot of leaves, you can't see across M15, you can see the grove burning from here, you can smell the grove burning, or the northern addition, those types of things. But it's up to council to, adopt or add other items to it. But basically what we were looking at when we started this is the burning of leaves in household and the smell that goes with it. There's a lot of people that have asthma or lung diseases or
That's would fall into that. So,
but that's up to you, what you want to do.
Well, I'll make a motion that we do not adopt the ordinance to ban burning within the village with the exception of household refuse. And that's my motion.
I'm sorry, clarification, please. So you're making a motion to adopt ordinance 148 with the amendment of 12-6 to just leaving in that you cannot burn household.
Yeah, but you still allow burning within the village, but you can't burn like your sofa or paint cans. Yeah.
and it is being done.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I have friends on large pieces of property who come on over for a bonfire. We're killing Dad's recliner.
Let me just back up.
It's true.
I guess I'm looking for a second before I do any more discussion. And do we have any support for her motion?
Well, I'd like to make a motion.
Hang on.
We have a motion on the
Yeah,
table.
but, okay.
All right, just one more clarification, because I am in favor of what she's given the motion here for, so I don't think we should burn our couches and tires and all that stuff. I'm agreeing with you on there. And I'm looking at the old language that's in the code now, and I'm just not seeing what she is stating that's in there. Would that be correct for the household portion, if that's not in the old code?
What you would be doing would be adopting this with Shannon's motion, and just section 62 would be burning of household refuse prohibited. The burning of grass, clippings, and leaves would be deleted.
Or we could continue
Still have
on.
to get the permit from the council.
Correct, because none of that's changing
Right.
from the old ordinance.
Yeah, that's just, you can't.
You just use the same language on this from the old, the one we're getting at.
Like I said, it's a combination of the township ordinance, the village ordinance, and what is on the actual permit when you apply to Adams Township.
I would support that motion.
So, motion, support. Now further discussion. That was 2 years ago, I was working in Flushing, and what they used there, and I believe it belonged to the trash pickup company. And I guess for simplicity's sake, it was a large steel dustpan that went on the back of a garbage truck. The leaves got brought down into the shoulder of the roads. The garbage truck drove along, they come through with a broom like we have and basically pushed them up into this dustpan. They were dumped into the truck. The truck did what it would if it was picking up your garbage, and that's how they picked up their leaves. No bags. It may not be a bad idea to look into that to see if this company, if they know anything of this, or if they would be interested.
Would that be another cost to the village for that service?
Well, we're already paying for trash and leaf pickup if we're not using them. You know, we're paying for it.
But if that cost were to increase, because we want somebody to, come and pick up our leaves, then that's gonna cost the people who don't necessarily, that's gonna be an additional burden on the people who don't have the leaves.
Maybe we can just look into it. And see what it will cost. I guess, we're kind of darned if we don't look out for the residents' health and welfare, and we're darned if we do. People with respiratory problems, there are days you can't breathe out there.
Right, and I respect that, in contrast to that, there's people who have seizures when fireworks are going off, and we still allow the fireworks to go off just on designated days. So maybe instead of like having open burning, maybe we limit burning to even numbered days of the month.
Are you making an amendment to your motion?
No, I'm just, they're having
And I'm not
conversation here, so.
asking to change it, what she's doing, I'm just saying, you know, maybe we should look into that. Which I could do, I would call and see if the garbage people would do that. And then we can discuss it further.
In the past, we had the garbage company put, like whatever, garbage container down in the park, and people were able to dump leaves, brush, that kind of stuff down there. I can check and see if we can do that again in addition to composting and.
The idea, the way they did it in Flushing, though, for somebody who's older and can't lift up those leaves, it was a rather unique idea in getting rid of the leaves. I would just like to talk to them. Yeah, come back to council, we can talk about that.
And if I could, since we're in the discussion part of this, I am in favor of Shannon's motion to allow our residents to burn their grass clippings and their leaves and whatnot, because this isn't just affecting the downtown district. This is, it's an old farming community that has developed in some sorts. This is country living as far as I'm concerned. This isn't Birmingham whatsoever. This is a way of life for some people. And I don't think we're doing a service to everybody in the community, and we're only helping out a few, and we should be making ordinances and whatnot to help out everybody as a whole. And I don't think this is the right choice, so again, I'm in favor of Shannon's motion. I do agree we shouldn't be burning mattresses. Although we put a date on it, I got one.
The trash company will pick that up, but they're not picking up our
Motion
leaves.
supported, you're all set, roll call, please.
Short,
Yes.
McCafferty,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
No. All right, we move on now to new business. Land division application. This is Hee Road Future Holdings LLC. This is the split. Please, if you would.
The land division application is, according to the ordinance, this is over a 5-acre parcel, and it is allowed for land division, which is what the planning commission is sending to you with a recommendation to approve. They meet all the qualifications, and it would be single-family homes that would be built on these 4 lots. And it does not change the zoning. It is very low density residential, which is, those 4 lots are allowed in that territory.
Just clarification for myself, Jackie, please, because I'm also seeing bids in here for sanitary sewers. Is that part of your land division application? Is that included in that?
No. Council approved the applicant to hook up to the village sewer at this particular point in time. 2 of the lots would qualify for an extension of the sewer. 2 of the lots would have septic fields. He has proposed to extend the sewer system on down Schuman Drive, but council has not talked about that any further, and they would like us to pay the bill.
For the extension of the sewer?
Yes.
They will pay the bill to extend it to the first 2 lots.
Okay. So these, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I haven't had a chance to meet until this is all settled with John O'Brien, just to double check the calculations. Our engineers will have to double check everything to make sure that it does indeed have the feed coming back this way that it needs to have, because the sewers run back into town from there.
Okay, so at this time, state council approves this and we go to build the 4 houses on here, there's only going to be 2 houses that are going to have sewer because they're within the limits of where it's already at, and the other 2 would have to have septic. Is that what I'm understanding?
The 2 Schuman Drive and the one to the east of there.
This is also the location where they were proposing to put the apartment complex,
Yes,
and now we're going to single residential homes, correct?
these are 4 single resident homes
Thank you.
on an acre piece of property, a little over an acre.
And my other question would be, since that was, I would say supposedly an old landfill, if you will, because there's a lot of concrete and stuff down there, is that ground stable for building?
That would be determined by the building inspector when they make their application. If he says it's not stable, then they're gonna have to make it stable, or they're not gonna build. This application doesn't have anything to do with,
So with them extending the sewers to the 2 proposed parcels here, by that being extended, does that then put it in reach for other residents to have to hook up? And what I'm asking is, I was understanding there was a contract, if you will.
there would probably be a couple people that, as long as it's within the distance, would hook up.
Would they be forced to have to hook up?
Why, is that a yes?
According to the ordinance. But again, this application is for the 4 land divisions that you are making a decision on. If you decide that you don't want to extend the sewer, you don't have to extend the sewer.
All right, and that's what I'm trying to verify, that we're not doing any kind of sewer improvement whatsoever, or saying yea or nay on any kind of sewer. This is just only for the land division for the 4 lots, and that is it.
Right now, that's what you're doing. You gave them permission to extend the sewer system, but you gave them permission if they were going to develop that land further. So,
What if, and I hear what you're saying, I remember the conversation, but I think we agreed to extend the sewers for the apartment complex, not to extend the sewers for this project here.
right.
So then that original motion would actually be null and void, and we'd have to go back and extend it again, because it's a completely different
That's a
project.
legal question.
Because my concerns are is that there's people, and I'm seeing the roads at Schuman Drive down here, that have already paid for their wells and for their
It
septic.
wouldn't affect them at all. It would affect the people on the south side of Eagle Road.
And do they have wells and septic already?
And they still have walls, this is just sanitary.
Right, what I'm asking is, once you extend these sewers, then is that gonna put them in the range with what we just discussed earlier, to where they would have to hook up to it, because now the sewers has gotten turned on?
There's probably 2 of those homes that would have to.
And then do we make sure that those residents are aware of that, and that they want them, and if not, we could do the right thing and not make them force to have the sanitaries if they don't want them, since they have already paid for their utilities? That's my concern. I don't want to have to force something onto somebody where they've already paid for it.
Both of those homes are very old. Their systems are in the twilight of their existence. $8,000 to hook up to the sanitaries would be a lot cheaper than putting in a new system.
He's talking to the
Again,
homeowners.
can we verify that with the residents?
It would be $1,000.
Pardon?
It'd be $1,000.
And it would be cheaper that way than for them to.
If somebody else is extending the system, it's $2,000 for the first 2, which would be there, and then $1,000 for each.
Have these lots been perk tested?
All, I think all of them have.
Which,
I'm not
It's
sure.
only the ones that were on the east side that were acceptable.
9507 and 9531?
Yeah, I think they all were, could have been done, but the sanitaries.
I know 2 have, I don't know about the other ones, because he's been all along planning to hook up to the sewer. The motion to have him extend the sewer, I can have it on review and see where we stand with it, but, again, this motion is to approve
Yeah, they do.
the
Need to
land
table
division
it.
that qualifies under the village zoning ordinance for 4 lots.
And this is for land division only, it has nothing to do with sewers at this point.
You're not,
We're
You're
not
not
approving
approving
sewers,
sewers.
it's just,
You would have to-
we're taking one piece of property and dividing it into 4.
right, you would have to review the motion that was made before, and talk to Mr. McKinney to see whether or not that stands
Mark, can we hold off on this until we get confirmation from the attorney on what motions need to be actually done, or what, if the original motion for the apartments and the sewer stands? Because my personal feeling would be that that motion is actually dead and no longer takes place, since we're not actually putting apartment complex in there, now we're looking at, for, single-family homes.
I don't recall the wording. I don't recall the wording. It was for the apartment complex, though, was it not?
I don't know. There's no reason that you can't postpone it until the next meeting.
I guess we can table it. And I will check with the property owners on the other side of
I
the
know
road.
once one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure both of them. And it's just the cheapest way for those guys to go, but I will check with them.
I appreciate it.
So we need a motion to postpone.
To make a motion to postpone.
Support.
Can I make that a little more formal? I'll make a motion to postpone the land division application.
21, 200.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's really get in there. Let's do the roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
McCafferty,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. The next one on the new business is the Dutton Cement Work proposal.
We have a couple of driveway slash curbs, catch basins that need to be repaired. It's a little bit more involved than the DPW can do, and then if there are driveways, we have requested bids from numerous people. Everyone is so busy. This is the only bid we have. We would like to get this done prior to plowing season, so I'm looking for a motion to approve Mr. Tennyson's application, or proposal. And it's in your packet.
Mr. President, are we, is the DPW going to replace the catch basins and then they're just gonna come out and do the cement work for it, or are they doing everything?
This is the sections of driveways.
Sections of the driveway.
They're working
You know,
on it.
I mean, they do the catch basins and they do the curbing and things, but being in somebody else's driveway, we would like to make sure that, you know, it has the final finishes and we leave it the same way that it was before the catch basin started to fall in.
Okay, so the catch basins are in the driveways themselves? Okay. Are we raising the catch basins?
They will take a look at it when they get there. The one across the street from one of these, once they got in there, it had a crack down the side, which was one of the bills. When we have to replace one, it's roughly $500. Hopefully, they're all fine. They couldn't see where the crack was on the other one until they got in there.
And that's what I'm asking, so
But they would do the replacement of the catch basin.
the DPW would? Okay, that's what I'm asking, thank you.
The amounts on there are for each one of the separate driveways that they have to do.
So they're cutting out some pretty big holes then?
Well, it'd be probably not quite half the driveway. And the people are aware that we're going to be coming to work. We'll give them plenty of notice that we'll be doing this so that they can land a park in the road.
And do they give any kind of warranty that their labor work, if you will, that the material cement's not gonna crack or fall in or anything like that for a period of time? And we have that more in an extensive contract than just the bids that we have?
No, I've talked to the gentleman verbally, but I can get something.
It's just insurance for the taxpayers.
Any other discussion? I'm looking for a motion. Anyone?
I'd make a motion, but I can't read who's on top of this.
Tennyson,
It's Tennyson, Dutton.
Make a motion to allow Tennyson Dutton to perform the work at the current addresses as stated.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
McCafferty,
Yes.
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 In your packet, I gave you a map, and I also gave you an application for a group called Protect. This group has been, not business, but has been meeting for a number of years. And because of what's going on right now with applicants coming to municipalities, whether it's the state of Michigan, the Genesee County Road Commission, the village of Goodrich, wanting to put poles up. The drawing that I gave you, they have made an application to put a 120-foot pole with 4 microwave dishes on it at the corner of Haas and M15. It would be in the village of Goodrich, right away. We spent a lot of money out there moving poles around so that we could put our decorative streetlights and the sidewalks and everything in there. We definitely, want to see a pole that's 120 feet. It has 2 break-off points. That tells you anything. One at 103 feet and one at 53 feet. If those things were to break off, who knows where they're going to go? I talked to Genesee County about this. They have 3 attorneys that are working on it. Mr. McKinney has written a letter to the applicant, which is Mobility, to tell them that they have been denied for their application. So what I would like to see is the village, our membership in this, just for supporting this group, is $232.50, and I would like to see us become a member of that group so that we're all on the same page and fighting to keep our road right away ours.
Does everyone understand where they're proposing to put this?
No.
No, I don't have, my map was.
It's just, looks like this.
Bank. Oxford Bank.
Oh, here.
It's down here just south of the bank in the corner of the,
Yeah.
It would be on the south side of Paws, just off of M15 road right away.
if you can see where the Dollar General is, that kind of gives you that.
What is it they want to put there? I'm sorry, I was looking for my map the whole time.
They want to put a 120-foot pole that at this point is going up with 4 microwave dishes on it. And then once they get it up there, Sprint or whomever can put those towers on it, or the canisters on it.
It's a cell phone tower.
But it's in our road right away. It puts a danger to DPW when they're working on the road, for the people that are chloriding. This is in the road right away.
So again, tell me, 'cause I'm unfamiliar with telecommunications, what's the purpose of this again? I'm not.
The purpose of Protect, or the purpose of that?
Purpose of the poll, start there.
The purpose of the pole is the company doesn't want to pay. Right now, if they put a pole on your property, they're going to pay you $1,000 a month, give or take. They don't want to pay that anymore. So they're going to municipalities and road commissions in the state and telling them that they fall under the Metro Act, which they don't, because it's not a necessity.
Right.
Gas company, telephone company, those things are necessities that we allow to go, we have contracts with, or we have ordinances with, to allow them in our road right away. These people are just putting these poles up there in anticipation of filling them up. They don't have they don't meet the qualifications for the Metro Act.
And your Protect thing here that we want to go with $232 is something that lobbies against those kind of companies? That's what I'm understanding. Thank you.
So I'm looking for a motion to become a member for $232.50 a year, and you can put me as a contact person if it makes sense, but you can put anybody else on there.
I'll make a motion to become a member of this Protect for $232.50 to protect our road right of ways.
Support.
It's a quick discussion, please. Do you know how they came to pick this site here for the pole? I just wanted.
I think what they did is a blanket, a lot of people got this particular company, they did a blanket mailing out to see if anybody would buy into it and let them put it up. I did receive a phone call back from them last week, and I didn't return the call because I wanted to come here and I wanted to see what Mr. McKinney said. And again, I talked to John Daly at the road commission, and everybody's fighting it. Because once they get one in, you could have one on every single.
Now, are they selling a service off this too?
Pardon me?
Would they be selling a service off of this too? Or are these contractors with mobility companies just to strengthen their signals?
I would assume they're, I've heard that Sprint, although they say they're not working for any particular company, I've heard that Sprint is working with this particular company. Which would help the DPW's phones, because the problem with Sprint, they don't just put it on a tower. So we have a motion of support to become a member and appoint who is the contractor.
You can be the contact person.
Sorry, your motion.
That's my motion.
Roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
McCaffrey,
Yeah.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
And last thing on the agenda is a resolution. A resident was left off the garbage assessment that went out on the tax bill, so this is correcting that, so that we can charge the resident for their garbage. Resolution 216-14.
Jackie, when does the renewal for the actual garbage come up, garbage contract?
I think it's 2 years.
In 2 years,
I can check.
roughly?
Yeah. It begins on August 1st every year. And I think this is the second year of the extension. So I'm looking for a motion to approve this resolution so that we can charge the resident.
Motion to approve resolution number 2016-14.
Support.
Any other discussion?
You got all those numbers, Tracy?
Horton,
Yes.
McCaffrey,
Yes.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. Last one.
Unfortunately, Linda May, who's been on our planning commission for a number of years, has submitted her resignation. She's ill, so I need you to accept her resignation with regret. And I will put an ad in the paper for a planning commission member, and we also need an alternate for the zoning board of appeals. So an ad will go in the paper, or if anybody wants to put their application in.
Thanks.
Make that motion, that you put that ad in the paper. And accept the resignation with regret.
Yeah.
Been there and done
So
that.
there.
Experience.
Support?
When you're ready.
Horton,
Yes.
McCaffrey,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Public comment?
A question on the last division. My understanding is
Speak out.
reported is that there's two of the residents that are going to be built will be the sewers, and two will be septic tanks at this point.
Yes.
Is it mandatory to have sewers if, can it just be built with septic tanks? I mean, it seems to me that the sewers are a point of contention here. if the builder wants to reapply and say that there will be all septic tanks, is that something that's acceptable or not?
Depends on if the property perk.
Anyone else?
I'm wondering, since there is now an official Parks and Rec committee, how to obtain the minutes and the agenda on those. And also, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Atlas Township is super organized. And they actually have their packet of information that is provided to council that is public record, available on their website as well. And it would be really nice to have, since our agenda is quite vague. People can actually ask questions, since you limited the first set of public meeting or the public comments to agenda items only. People would have a better idea what's there, so that they could speak for it or against it before you actually vote on it.
And that's Green Road, and to add on to what Ms. Allen just said, I didn't actually see the park sign rules on our actual agenda today. And that's something that probably would have been, brought to the attention of the public had it been a full packet available to the public. I would also like to say, 3 years ago, when I first came to you with a full plan for the park in town, I was asking for surveys, all information pertaining to the park. And I was told by your staff that you guys don't keep that kind of records in your office. So I don't know where our survey came from suddenly. And I'd also like to know why, when the Parks and Rec Committee started a year ago, we were never given park surveys, information about grants that may have been applied for and denied, specifically pathways going down that hill. I feel like a split rail fence is just jumping the gun, because we have not discussed how we're going to get down that hill. We don't know where that entrance is going to have to be. We have a DPW department that took, I believe it was 20-some man-hours last year to put in one hole. I can only imagine a split rail fence. They had an entire winter to paint our benches, and they painted one. They had an entire winter, a mild winter at that, and they painted one. We've got to be organized, we've got to be working together, and we've got to have a plan of action before we just start going on a whim of the director of whatever committee, because that's her favorite project this week. A split rail fence wasn't talked about until the last few months, and then it's just boom, 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 we gotta have it done, we need it. And we don't even maintain what we have. If we don't maintain what we have, why would we spend a single penny on something extra? That just doesn't make sense to me. And then I have a question about that land division. What happens to those other lots? If you split it up into 4 lots, I feel like the village has had a long history of landlocking property, or I believe in that Fairview Hills, there's a lot of lots that were divided that probably if somebody had actually walked them and taken the proper consideration, we wouldn't have so many vacant lots. Basically we have a bunch of worthless lots in our village right now because they're not that buildable. They have to have special configurations, special accountability or accommodations for them, because we didn't take the careful consideration before we split them. What if they don't get the perk on the other 2 lots? And now you've got 4 lots. They build on 2 of them. The other 2 are gonna go back to the bank and be worthless. We don't want that. We want to protect Goodrich, not tear it apart. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just to retouch on the division of the lots, again, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but I'm incredibly hesitant to have any type of division like that where if 2 of them end up with septics or any type of sanitary sewer, that would force the hand of having to extend it to someone else. And then as a homeowner there, I'm absolutely opposed to the village council or any other entity in the government telling me that I have to connect to their sewer when I have a a very expensive well and septic system that I've just recently redone. And the additional expense, it was $1,000 hookup fee is what was, I believe, said here. But we're not thinking about the cost of it, it's $1,000 to hook up to it. And then the monthly cost amortized over 30 years comes to be a considerable fee. I'll just ask that the council reconsider that and look at the whole picture as opposed to maybe 2 or 3 people that may benefit from the sanitary system. Thank you.
Anyone else? Council? Land split, looks like we're not gonna hurry into this. I guess, once again, if the sewers, if, big word here, if they were to continue for those 2 lots, it would only be for the homes that would be directly to the south. And I will stop and see what those people have to say. But it would not affect anybody down Schuman Drive, that's not the way it would go. It would only be, well, it's only because they're up on a hill, and it would gravity down too. The idea of the sewers versus the sanitaries, septic systems on those lots, I'm sure it'd be a lot cheaper for him to go sanitary than what it would be to put in those septic systems. And the next thing with, there's something that I'd have to check into also. I'm a little concerned with the health department, septic systems, and the size of the lots. I don't want to get too involved in this because I really don't know a great deal, but I have to do my homework on that. I guess that's about all I can touch on right now. As far as the what we do on our website, we kind of tried to get a kid to help us out once. We don't seem to have the time, the money, comparing us to Atlas Township and how much they would spend.